Industries is a stock in focus today. They have signed a multi-year pact with Safran Aircraft Engines to manufacture LEAP engine casting parts for Safran, titanium casting parts essentially for the aircraft engines. And apparently, it opens up multiple opportunities for PTC over the long term. Mr. Sachin Agarwal, who's the chairman and MD of the company, joins us to talk about this and more. Mr. Agarwal, good having you. Thanks for taking the time out. My name is Neeraj. Um, can you tell us a bit about this? Congratulations on this pact.
Good morning, Neeraj. Thank you so much. Yes, this is a very path-breaking and a big milestone for our company, not just for the company. I think it's a very big milestone for the country as well. This is for the first time any cast parts will go into a civil aerospace application from an Indian company. So I think this is a very exciting period for us. These are very technologically challenging equipment and components, especially when we're talking about titanium castings. We are the only ones doing this in India. We have been manufacturing titanium casting for the last 7-8 years in India, primarily for the domestic aerospace applications and defense as well. But now getting into a civilian aerospace foreign OEM supply chain, this is a very big leap forward for us. We believe that this opens up massive opportunities for us going forward. This is what we dreamt for. This is what we had set as an objective for our company when we envisioned the goal of achieving parity with the world in terms of technology and capability and infrastructure within the country for such kind of metal and metal components. As you already know, that aero engine is one of the most difficult area to get into, and so I think this embarks us into a new journey.
Okay, can you? I believe such things happen with years of effort put in. So, can you tell us what went behind this part one? And I heard you say that this opens up multiple opportunities. Tell us a bit about that as well.
Sure. So this is so as we look at in India, the capability to manufacture such kind of critical components didn't exist, and that is why we have a huge issue with our mission towards Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat as well. So there's huge amount of work that has gone in over the last 10 years in the company in terms of capability development in bringing in such kind of technologies which were kind of kept away from a country like ours and has such kind of titanium casting and superalloy casting manufacturing capability and technology is only with a very, very few players in the world. In fact, the current supply chain for Safran for these aero engine components that we're supplying comes from hardly 2 or 3 companies around the world. So getting into that requires a lot of research and development, a huge amount of investment into capability, into infrastructure, because the ecosystem that is required to manufacture such component also didn't exist. So we had to create the whole ecosystem, the entire processes within the company, and that required a massive amount of work from our team, from our people, from our technology officer, and which and this is a testament to the hard work which has gone over the last 10 years that we have gotten into this supply chain now. Now, what opportunities it opens up? This is the start. We have just started with a couple of parts that go into the LEAP engine for the Safran CFM engines, which go on to all your single-aisle jet airplanes. These Safran is probably making around in excess of 2,000 such engines a year. So massive demand. And this will continue for a very, very long time, given the amount of orders that they currently have and are still accruing. This opens up other titanium casting parts that go into the engine. There are many, many such parts that go into the engine, as well as superalloy parts that go into the engine. And this is one of the biggest uh, uh, value addition in terms of uh, in terms of technology and in terms of uh, capability that you can do on any component that goes into the aero engine. And it also opens up for other equipment manufacturers, other engine manufacturers around the world are entering into those clientele as well.
Okay, Mr. Agarwal, could you share about, can you talk about this in terms of what could it mean for numbers? And the reason I ask you is because for a lot of industries, defense predominantly, but others, the past 10 years don't quite give an idea of what the next 10 years could hold in store. And I see that an issue with multiple companies wherein when they talk about projections and when people question them that, hey, you're talking about X or Y, but cumulatively also you've not done so much in the last 4 or 5 years. Now, when I look at your numbers, uh, uh, you range between 150, 200 crores, give or take, for the last many years. On the bottom line front as well, or the operational metrics too, these numbers haven't quite varied and they've been small relative to that. What is the kind of opportunity that something like this brings to the table in numerical terms?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, if you look at our numbers, I think first of all, what you will see is the consolidation in the number in terms of the EBITDA percentage, the margin percentage. So yes, the top line numbers might have remain a little bit static, but even though they have been growing in the last 2 years quite significantly, the EBITDA and profitability numbers have reached. EBITDA is almost 30% in the previous financial year and even in the last few quarters. So the numbers in that sense are what they are telling you is that more and more that we get into defense and aerospace manufacturing, the numbers will start speaking in terms of high profitability, sustainable profitable growth in the future. This, as I mentioned in my previous discussion with you, that the numbers will come only when we have created the capability. So the last 7, 8, 10 years was primarily major investments. All the profit of the company were getting plowed back into creating this capability because such kind of technology requires a huge gestation period, 7, 8 years of gestation period. The qualification for such kind of aerospace applications itself runs into many, many years. We have climbed that mountain now. The point is that we have reached almost that apex of technology and capability within the country. And now is the point towards investment and capability development and expansion towards capacity. And that is the investment that is going on in the company. Not just, so we are investing in a massive materials manufacturing. So I digress a little bit to explain that when you compare us or look at defense ecosystem in the country, it's like a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is your equipment and platform manufacturers like guns, ships, airplanes, helicopters. The second tier of the pyramid is all your subsystems manufacturers, landing systems, fire control systems, these kind of capability sub-assemblies that go into a platform. The third tier is where all these components are made, which go into the making of the subsystems. And below that is the materials. What our playing ground, what is our domain is in these bottom two tiers. This is where certain core manufacturing technologies are required, core material processing technologies and core manufacturing technologies, which were absent in India. That is our objective, to fill those gaps in those technologies which can create the infrastructure, create the ecosystem within the country to be able to have this vision of making all and making Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I think at this point of time, the numbers will start in the next 2, 3, 4 years, start multiplying by a rapid pace. We have investing in a massive capacity for titanium and superalloy material manufacturing capability. That is coming with a capacity of 6,000 tons per year, which will be the only one in India, the only and probably the third one in the world with titanium recycling capability, which only France and US have today, that technology. So these things that are coming are working towards creating this capability and creating a base which can give you returns for many, many decades to come.
Great. And I certainly wish you all the best for that, not just for your company, but for the sake of India as well. Just trying to understand again, I'm looking for some indication about what, so that viewers can understand what bit of this thing could it be. So 6,000 tons per day, when does it come on stream, and what is, assuming that it gets utilized in the first 12 to 18 months of its operations, what kind of revenue potential does such a facility have?
So 6,000 tons per year.
Per year, excuse me, yes.
Yeah. So, yes. So these are all aerospace grade titanium manufacturing. So it won't get utilized in the first 12 to 18 months. This will take around 12 to 36 months to get to the full capacity. But at full capacity, what we are looking just for titanium material manufacturing, not of what we in the news that has happened, is component manufacturing. I said the third tier. The second one that we are setting up is for material manufacturing, the fourth tier. That probably will take, is averaging between 2,000 to 3,000 rupees a kg. So at full capacity, you're talking about 1,800 crores value for revenue. But on top of that, we are adding more processing and form manufacturing capability like billets, bars, sheets, plates, rolling mill, which will add even more value addition on top of that, push it up to almost even powder manufacturing capability for 3D printing, metal powder manufacturing. These will push up the value all the way up from 3,000 rupees all the way up to 5,000 and even up to 10,000, 12,000 rupees a kg. That pushes up. So the objective of the company is to intervene in those technology gaps where profitability is sustainable and margins are sound and good.
Okay, so I don't want my last question, and we'll probably do a longer conversation at some point of time when we are meeting in person, Mr. Agarwal, on air, but in person in the studios. But just trying to understand, you had a vision for which you've done a 7, 8 year, 9 year consolidation, building up things. Well, people would have said, "Ke kya kar rahe ho," etc., right? Now, as you stand in 2023, we're on the cusp of some of the facilities coming on stream. What is your vision of what PTC could be in terms of the numbers, in terms of the operational metrics, in terms of ROEs, in any given year, let's say 2030 or 2028, you choose the year of your choice, but give me a sense of what your company will be at that year.
So you could see it from my talking, I generally don't talk about numbers.
Don't give me an exact number. I'm just trying to get your vision.
Yeah. So the vision is to create a company. So that comes from our top vision, which is parity, which is to achieve parity in the global scale at global level, where we are amongst the best in our area of domain. That is metal and metal components. That's our domain. And when we are talking about the best, there is only a couple of companies in our domain in this area, which is some company like Precision Cast Components, PCC in the US, Hormet. There are 2-3 companies like this. When we're talking about these, you can imagine they for PCC, which was acquired by Warren Buffett some time back, 5-6 years back, 7-8 years back probably, it's at around $15 billion of turnover, only making castings and metal, almost in the same areas that we are in. Controlled microstructures components, so single crystal castings, directionally solidified plates for the engine manufacturing. That's another facility technology which we have acquired. So all these areas that we are in, these are huge numbers.
Mr. Agarwal, I think we've lost your... Okay, yeah, sorry, we lost the last part, but you were saying, so effectively you're saying that the global comparisons of companies which are leaders are much larger. Maybe there is potential for you to pick maybe not become that large so soon, but suffice to say that from where you are in 2023 or FY24, 5 years out, your size could be multiple times what your current size is. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a fair assessment. That's absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would love to talk to you more. We have slight paucity of time currently, Mr. Agarwal, but congratulations on this pact, and may it deliver even better goods for you in times to come. Thank you for taking the time on and speaking to us.
Thank you so much, Neeraj. Have a good day.
You too. And viewers, thanks for tuning in.